Welcome everyone, this is Rob Sanders from Simplilearn, and today we're going to talk about Google Display Network. So thanks for joining and let's get started. So I want you to imagine having the world at your fingertips, especially when it comes to advertising. Imagine having the entire world at your fingertips for advertising. So just imagine you have the ability to advertise your brand to any website in the world. Can you imagine that? Well, imagine having that entirety at your fingertips, the entire world. So it's not really an imagination. So no need to imagine anymore because Google Ads has come to the rescue. So no need to imagine, the world is at your fingertips. And why is it at your fingertips? Because of Google, and specifically Google Display Network. Okay, so we're going to talk about what the Google Display Network is. So let's start out by asking the question or answering the question, what is the Google Display Network? So Google has two networks basically. One, the search network, one, the display network. So you as an advertiser, if you want to advertise on Google, you have a choice. Can I go with Google search or can I go with the display network? Well, the search network is for Google search only. So if you want to advertise when somebody types in a keyword query and you want your ad to show up, that's the search network. So it looks something like this. Somebody types in a keyword, data science, and lo and behold, ads show up. And here you can see the first ad from Simplilearn. Why did that ad show up? Because Simplilearn was bidding on the keyword data science. And so that's how the search network works. You bid on keywords, somebody types in those keywords, and your ads show up in the search engine results at the top above organic listings. So that's the search network, and it just simply comprises of ads that respond to what people are querying. Okay, the display network is a little bit different. So that's the search network. Today we're going to talk about the display network. Okay, the display network is a little bit different. So imagine you're on the lookout for a new shoe on Amazon as an example, but you don't end up buying the shoe. You're looking at shoes, you don't buy it. Well, you might have noticed in the past you've done something like that, whether it be shoes or shirts or coats or belts or cars or radios or headphones or phones. It doesn't really matter. You might have been looking at something and then notice an ad show up. It might have been exactly that same product or might have been something similar to the product you were looking at but on the same website. So why does that happen? Well, it happens because Google's display network, specifically remarketing, which we'll talk about. So on Google's display network, you have the option to advertise as somebody's been on your website. So that's one of the powers and one of the features of Google's display network, and that's remarketing or retargeting somebody that's looked at your product. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into how the display network works. So if you're a customer, you go to a website and you leave that website, again, from a remarketing perspective, your product can appear on another site. Okay, so that's remarketing. So you can retarget that person who's been to your site. So that's, again, one great example of how to use the display network. In Google terms, we call it remarketing. And again, somebody goes to your website, they leave, in this example, not buying something. It could be a technology company where we want somebody to watch a video or download a PDF. Okay, whatever they do that you want them to do, but they don't actually do it, then you can go back and retarget them. So if they actually go to a page and look at your product but don't buy that product, then you have the opportunity to advertise to them again. So the whole idea is if you advertise them again, wow, that person can say, okay, I remember that. I was still interested in that product. Let me go back and purchase that product. So they go back to the site and make the purchase. So that's, again, the power of the display network. You can reach people who have been to your site before. So let's take another look here. So retargeting evolves around adding a piece of code or pixel on your website, which uses browser cookies to add website visitors to your audience. So let me just summarize that for you. So if you want to use the display network and you want to target people who have been to your website, Well, you need to add a simple script or pixel, if you will, to your website. That's all. And so when somebody comes to your website, they're going to get cookied, and that cookie is stored in their browser. And so that's an important piece of the whole process, because that's how Google determines who that visitor is. So without that cookie, then Google won't know to show your ad to them again. So that's the first piece in all this. So when somebody does get cookied, they're going to be added to that audience. And so when we say audience, we mean you as an advertiser defining who you want to retarget to. So in this example, we're talking about people who have looked at a product and didn't purchase. That could be a whole audience in itself. People who look at a product and don't purchase. It could be everyone who comes to your website. It could be only returning users. It could be only new users. You define the audience. But however you define that audience, they're going to get cookied and placed on a list. And when they're placed in that list, they're going to get shown the ad again. So past visitors will see your product ads when they're browsing the web, watching videos on YouTube, going through news sites, and so on. So if that's your audience list, past visitors, that's where they're going to be able to see your ad. Because Google's display network is much more than just websites. It's also YouTube. It's also news feeds. It's also social networking sites. So there's a lot involved with Google's display network. So the network involves several websites that are partnered up with Google, along with the likes of YouTube, along with the likes of millions of other websites. In fact, these websites together tally up to more than 2 million. That encompasses more than 90% of the internet. So you can imagine Google's display network is just made up of a bunch of websites, including YouTube. Okay, so you have the opportunity to really reach somebody that's been to your website before. So again, if they're past visitors and they looked at a product and they didn't purchase it, you have an opportunity to really put your ad in front of them on a lot of different websites. So that's just an intro about the display network. Remarketing is just one benefit. But let's take a step back. So we dove into the deep end with remarketing. Let's just separate out the two again, just so you're clear on what the display network is versus the search network. Well, let's go through some of the differences. So display network on the left, search network on the right. So the display network, as we just discussed, is great for retargeting people who have been to your website. Whether they're new users, returning users, users who looked at a product, users who added a product to your cart, users who looked at a specific page, whatever that behavior is, you're defining that. Now, the search network is usually for top of funnel. Why do we say top of funnel? Because users are actively searching for something. They're looking for a product. They're being active. So they're going to search and seeing who has that product. Okay, the display network, we know remarketing is a benefit, but usually it's bottom of funnel, like brand awareness. So if nobody knows who your brand is, or what your brand is, or what you have to offer, what your services are, then the display network, remember, made up of millions of websites, you have the opportunity to put your ad out there. Okay, so display, bottom of funnel, search network, top of funnel. Somebody actively looking for something. Let's take a look at some other differences here. So display network, easier to advertise products that don't satisfy an immediate need. This is true because, again, if you have a new product, you want to get that product out there. You want people to just know about it. Some people may not be ready to buy that product, but at least they're going to know what the product's about. On the search network, on the other hand, if somebody's looking for something like a particular product that you're offering, then they could type in a keyword that describes that product, and wham, your ad can appear at the top. Okay, remember, top of funnel. So products and services usually fulfill a particular requirement. Now, the display network can be used to familiarize users to your brand. So again, going back to remarketing, somebody comes to your website, they really don't know who you are. Well, you can reach back out to them on the display network with another ad, retargeting. And that's how you can get users familiar with your brand. Where on the search network, users are shown ads based on what they search for. So it doesn't really matter if they know your brand or not. Hey, if they're looking for something and they're ready to buy and you have that product at the right price, then the chances of them converting are pretty good. So you're at the right place at the right time, where the display network's all about familiarity, retargeting the people with your brand, getting your brand out there, getting your product out there in front of millions of people. Now on the display network, users are shown these ads in over 1 million different websites. So with the display network, you have the opportunity to kind of hone in and pick and choose those websites. Where on the search network, users are shown ads in Google Apps and on the search engines. So you have the opportunity to place your ads not just on desktop search, but also on mobile and also on apps. Whereas, again, the display network is made up of much more. It's made up of websites, YouTube, apps, etc. Okay, the display network has a multitude of different formats. Okay, when we say different formats, we mean text ads, image ads, rich media ads, meaning ads that have some functionality to it, like movement, okay, and then video ads. Where the search network is really only text ads. And I say really only text ads, well, you can have image ads, those are called shopping ads, but mainly it's text ads. Where display network, you have an option between text, image, rich media, or video ads. So you can see the differences here, really. There are big differences between the two networks. Where search, you're just really responding what somebody's looking for. They're really active and ready to go. Display, hey, you're trying to reach out to these people. You're trying to introduce them to something. And in some cases with remarketing, you're reaching out to them again. Okay, you're trying to get them familiar with your product and brand, and you're trying to do that via video, via rich media, via regular image ad, via text ad. So you're trying to do it in a multitude of formats. So again, bottom of funnel for display, top of funnel for search. So that's an intro to the display network. Those are the differences between search and display. Now let's go through the steps of how to set up a campaign in Google Ads using the display network as our option. So here I am, I'm in Google Ads, I'm in an account, and I want to set up a campaign on the display network. So you can see here, if I'm in Google Ads, I've selected display campaigns. I can already see I have some display network campaigns set up. In fact, they're all remarketing campaigns. And so remarketing, remember, is targeting somebody who fits a list or description. Okay, so it could be somebody looking at a particular product. They get cookied, meaning that text file is going to sit on their browser, and then they're going to see your ad the next time they're on Google's display network, wherever site they may be. So we're reaching out to somebody who fits a particular description. Okay, so if we're going to set up a display campaign, meaning a campaign on Google's display network, we want to go to campaigns and we want to click on the plus button here. And we're just going to say new campaign. Now, we have the opportunity now to pick and choose what our goal is for that campaign. And so most of the time with display, you're going to choose brand awareness and reach. Okay, so here you can see the campaign types for brand awareness and reach, display and video. Usually when it comes to sales or leads or even just driving traffic, okay, you might go with the search network. But if you're just really trying to just promote your brand, you may go with display, because remember, you have the option to get your ad in front of millions of websites. We're going to choose brand awareness and reach, okay, and we're going to choose the campaign type. So here you have display. We want to run different kinds of ads, or we can run just video. Okay, we want to run, if we're running video, we can reach and engage viewers on YouTube and across the web, meaning other websites. Okay, let's choose display here. So we're going to go ahead and just put our website in there. So our business's website. And when that loads up, we're going to have a number of different options available to us. So here we can name our campaign. Okay, so here you can see brand awareness and reach is the name of our campaign. And for now, we're just going to put test. Now we have the opportunity to choose our location. Here, we're going to choose the United States. We have, just like a search campaign, we also have languages and options. So with search, you have locations and languages. Same thing on display. So we're going to target English as our language. And what are we trying to do? What are we focusing on? Well, we want to get our product out there. So we're going to choose impressions, viewable impressions. That's really what we want to focus on. We want people to see our ad. Okay, so an impression is the number of times somebody sees your ad. Okay, so we have viewable impressions. That's what we want people to do. We want them to see our ad. And if you take a peek over here on the right side, you can see your targeting's reach. So we can reach over 10 billion plus in impressions, meaning that's a lot of eyeballs. The number of people looking at our ad right now is over 10 billion plus. Okay, so that's just gives you the scope and some idea of how big Google's display network is. So just like search, we could set a budget. I'm just going to choose $100 for now, and I can choose how to deliver that budget. Just like on search, I have standard accelerated. I can ask Google to speed up the spend, or I could just do regular standard, which means they're going to spend my budget evenly over a period of time, over the course of the day. Now, remember with display network, we have different options on ad types. We have text ads, rich media ads, regular image ads, and video. So we can rotate our ads how we like. So we could say, hey, look, I want to run my best performing ads. Okay, so that means I want Google to optimize for me. Meaning, if I have an ad that's performing better than some others, then I'm going to let Google run that one more. And that's the one I would recommend. But you do have other options here. You can just have them rotate evenly. You could say, hey, optimize for conversions. But it's really, remember, our goal here for the display is to get impressions, eyeballs. We're not interested in top of funnel conversions. In here, we could say rotate evenly, and that's not supported for display. So really our best option here is prefer best performing ads. We want our best performing ads to run. Okay, we have an option to schedule them. We have an option to start and end. Okay, and we have an option to set a cap. How many times we want somebody to look at that ad. So we can limit how many times our ad is shown to the same user. Okay, so we're gonna let Google optimize how often your ads are shown. However, we do have the option to set that limit. Okay, so we could set the limit to X times per day for the entire campaign, or it could be for a particular ad or ad group. Okay, so we could set the limit ourselves, and we can let Google optimize for us. Here we have some exclusions. Okay, and then we have the opportunity to set up our ad group. Now, the ad group is the same as the search network. The ad group on display is where your settings are going to be. Your ads are going to be located in your ad group. And now the important part, we want to get to audiences. So if we're remarketing, we're going to choose our audience. And if we're not remarketing, we still have the opportunity to choose our audience. So if I'm a tech company and I just type in tech, then Google's going to give me some options here. So here I can choose some tech companies, technology products, new inventions, etc. Or I can choose some ideas that Google has in mind for audiences, like they have an in-market audience. So this is based on network systems and services, network management. So the bottom line is Google is giving me suggestions on who I can target my ad to. Okay, that's what this is. Choosing your audience. Now, you don't have to choose anything here. In fact, you can just clear all and be done with it. Now you can go down to demographics. Now I can pick and choose based on gender. I can pick and choose based on age, parental status, and household income. Really depending on who you're advertising to. That's really what it comes down to it. Okay, so you have demographics and you have audiences. Audiences are really for remarketing. So again, you can go with some of Google's recommended audiences, or you can create your own audience. Okay, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But this is all part of the setup for the campaign. So I'm saying, hey, these are the demographics and these are the audiences. But if you're not remarketing, you don't necessarily have to go with an audience. Okay, once that's done, you can set up a bid just like you would on the search network, and then you have the option to choose your ad. So that's part of the campaign setup. So when you actually choose your ad, again, you have different options. Image ad, okay, rich media ad, video, or text. Once you choose your ad, then you pretty much have your campaign set up. Now we're going to tweak it after we set it up, but that's pretty much the steps in terms of setting up a display campaign. Very similar to search. In fact, minor differences really are choosing your audience and choosing the ad type. That's really the main differences between setting up a campaign on display and setting up a campaign on search. the main differences. Now, there are other subtle differences, but those are the main ones. So we talked about remarketing to people who have been on our website. So going and showing our ad to somebody who fits a particular description, meaning they looked at a product or they looked at a particular page. So if you're going to retarget to people, then as a best practice, I would set up the audience in Google Analytics. So Google Analytics talks to Google Ads. In fact, you can link up the two in Analytics. So regardless of whether you're creating a display campaign or search campaign, you want to link up Analytics with Google Ads. So you can see we've done that here. Okay, now that we've linked the two up, we could set up an audience in Google Analytics for use on a remarketing campaign on Google's display network. So here you can see I have audiences set up. If you want to just create a new audience, you can do that. So if I click new audience here I can choose returning users or new users. These are audiences that Google has set up by default. I can create a new one if I want. So I could say, hey, I want to target, 18 to 24-year-old males who speak English, for example, and who came from mobile. So if I go here, technology, I'm going to say including mobile. So that could be my audience. So anybody who fits that description of 18 to 24-year-old coming to my website from mobile who speaks English, I'm going to retarget them. And you can go ahead and save this. So if I go ahead and click apply, I'm going to name my audience 18, 24-year-old male, English, mobile. One thing about remarketing on the display network is you can choose how long somebody stays on your list, meaning how long is that cookie going to live. So depending on your funnel, if they're buying a car, the funnel may be 6 months long. If they're buying a pair of shoes, then the funnel may be 7 days long, maybe even shorter. So it really depends on your business. The default is 30 days. So if you go with 30 days, then that means any 18 to 24-year-old male who speaks English and comes from mobile is going to get cookied, and that cookie is going to live for 30 days. So if I click next step, I can go ahead and publish it. I can say I want this to be available in my Google Ads account. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my account, and it'll be available in that account. So I'll choose my account and then go ahead and click publish. So now this audience list is going to be available for me to use in my display campaign when I go to choose my audience. So if I go back to Google Ads, so Google Ads and Google Analytics talk to one another. Why? Because they're linked. And so now when I go to actually set up my ad group and I'm choosing remarketing, I can go ahead and choose that audience list. So for example, this campaign that's already set up, I can go ahead and choose to set up another ad group with that particular audience list. So if I choose new ad group, and now I'm going to search for the audience I just set up. So here you go. I just did a search and here's my audience. I'm going to select my audience and I'm going to now use this audience in my ad group for my remarketing campaign. So now all I need to do is align the right ad with this audience. So that's how remarketing works. You choose your audience list. You set up your ads. Remember, you have different ad formats: video, rich media, image, and text. And the whole idea beyond remarketing is you know who your audience is, you know what you want to say to them, so your ad should really encompass that message, the message of what you want to say to that particular group. In this case, 18 to 24-year-old male who speak English, who came to your site from mobile. So if you don't really want to retarget somebody who's been to your website, you could certainly still use the display network to your advantage. Remember, bottom of the funnel, the goal of our campaign is just get our ad out there so that people recognize our brand, our services, our product. So when you actually go to set up an ad group, you don't have to choose an audience to retarget to. You do have other options. So if I look at this ad group here, you can see I have image ads already set up. So where do I want these image ads to appear? So I do have options available to me in the display network. So if I choose keywords, then that means if I go ahead and add a keyword, then what Google's going to do is contextually place my image ad on a website that fits the description or matches that keyword. So if I add 1 or 2 or 3 keywords, then what Google's going to do is going to look at that keyword and it's going to map a website on the display network using those keywords. So that's keywords. Now, you got to be careful here because it's a broad way of advertising, meaning your ads could appear on sites that you don't necessarily deem relevant to those keywords. So you're allowing Google to match the website with the keywords you choose. So that's choosing keywords. Audiences, again, audiences are there if you want to retarget. So if you're retargeting, you can set up your audience in analytics. In fact, that's the best practice. So again, if I go back to analytics and I go back to admin, under my property audiences, I can go ahead and choose my audience to be used in Google Ads. So that's using audiences on a display campaign on Google's display network. When we're setting up our campaign, we had an option to choose demographics. So we can exclude a demographic if we wanted to. We can always go back and exclude a demographic just by removing them from the ad group. Notice if we choose all demographics, we can actually then see over a period of time in Google Ads how many people based on this particular age group or gender or parental status or household income saw our ad, but not only saw our ad, that would be impressions, but clicked on our ad and how much they spent per click and how many conversions. So you have all that data available to you in the display network. Okay, so that's demographics. I can also use topics. So I can choose a particular topic to advertise on. So if I choose topics, I can choose a particular keyword, find a particular topic, or I can drill down on Google's topic categories and subcategories. So here you could see online communities. If I choose that one, I could see there are other subcategories under online communities. Okay, I can choose the whole category of science, or I can drill down to see what subcategories are under science. So I can do that for any one of these topic categories. And if I choose a category, notice that's where Google's going to place my ad, whatever I select. And again, notice upper right here, I can take a sneak peek at how many eyeballs Google is expecting to see my ad. So here, by choosing astronomy and science, I have 310 million impressions. That's how many potential eyeballs can look at my ad. So if you're setting up a display network campaign, you can choose keywords, you can choose demographics, or you can choose topics. Now, if you decide not to go with a topic, then your last option here is placements. So I can pick and choose a specific placement. If there's a particular website that I want to advertise on, let's just say NewYorkTimes.com or LATimes.com or WebMD.com. Remember, there are over 2 million websites on Google's display network. So I can pick and choose specifically where I want my ads to be displayed. Now, when you're done choosing your audience or your keywords or your demographics, your topics, or your specific placements, you can always then go to your placements and then click on where ads showed. And so now over this particular time frame, I'm going to be able to see where my ads have been shown. And so now I can see my ads have been shown on mobile apps and on particular websites. Now, if you don't like any of the particular websites that your ad is showing on, you can always select it and you can always exclude it. You can exclude it from the ad group or the campaign. Okay, so that's how you manage where your ads are showing up on Google's display network. Again, you can go ahead and go to where ads are shown under placements, and over that particular period of time, Google's going to show you where your ads have been shown. And if you don't like that placement, then you can always just exclude it. Or if you don't like the performance, meaning you're not getting many impressions or you're not getting many clicks or the click-through rate's very low, you can go ahead and exclude it. So this is an opportunity for you, the advertiser, to take control over where your ads are shown. So in summary, when you set up a display campaign on Google's display network, you have options. If you're remarketing, you're going to choose your audience. You're going to choose your audience using a list you created in Google Analytics. If you're on the display network, not remarketing, you have the option. You can choose a keyword and have Google place your ad on a website that fits the description of that keyword. You could choose specific demographics. You could choose a topic or subtopic category, or you could choose a specific placement. Okay, those are all the options available to you when you run your ad on Google's Display Network. Now, let's go back and take a look at some of the advantages of the Google Display Network. So I just went over with you how to actually create a campaign in an ad group. I actually went over how to set up a remarketing campaign and set up a remarketing list and analytics, and I went over all the differences between the search network and display, but let's really hone in on those advantages here. So with the display network, we can provide advanced targeting, meaning I can particularly point to a specific website that I want to advertise on. So that's what I mean by advanced targeting. Or if I don't want to advertise to 18 to 24-year-olds or 25 to 34-year-olds, I can exclude them. Or I can really pick and choose a specific audience that I want to remarket to. So those are all examples of advanced targeting, and that's all done within analytics or Google Ads. So advanced targeting enables you to target the people that didn't engage with previous campaigns and get in front of people with lookalike audiences that can be created based on the audience you usually advertise to. So in other words, we can really hone in and pick and choose who we want to advertise to. Another advantage is relatively low starting cost. So what we mean by low starting cost is normally on the search network, you're bidding on keywords, and some keywords can be very competitive. Whereas on the display network, you could pick and choose who you want to advertise to and pick and choose where you want to advertise. So you can really advertise on websites that get a lot of traffic, may not have a lot of competition, and therefore may not cost as much. So if you compare it to traditional forms of advertising like TV or radio, display advertising, reaching a large, broader audience is a lot cheaper. Okay, you can do advanced tracking, meaning when we talk about perform advanced tracking, we're talking about, again, remarketing. We can really pick and choose who we want to remarket to and cookie them and pick and choose how long they are going to be cookied. So when we talk about advanced tracking, that's what we're really talking about. So we can also talk about how many times our ad is shown to somebody. We really can pick and choose how many times we want somebody to actually see our ad on a site based on performance. Okay, let's take a look at some other advantages. The ability to advertise your brand to a broader audience. Okay, Google has over 2 million websites. So we can pick and choose where we want our ads to show up. Again, it can be by topic, it can be contextually via keywords, or it can be specific websites. So we can create demand for our product, and what we mean by that, we can create really cool ads. Remember, rich media ads, video ads, these are all engaging type of ads. Those are ad types on the display network. When we create engaging type of ads, it's going to appeal to somebody and they're going to engage. So we have that opportunity just based on the different ad types. Of course, increasing web traffic, we can't say that enough. If you're advertising on Google's display network, you have the opportunity to get your ad in front of millions of people. Get our ads in front of millions of people, we have the opportunity to get a lot of clicks. And we do have that wide range of formats. Search network only has text ads. Here we have text, we have rich media, we have image, we have video. So all these types of ad formats allow us to really get our ads out there in a number of different ways. Again, remarketing our product and services are the big advantage using Google's display network. That's how we started today's webinar. We started talking about remarketing because it's such a key feature. So if somebody comes to our website and doesn't do what we want them to do, we can cookie them and we can retarget them with a more specific ad tailored to that audience. So those are all the advantages. Those are all the ways in which you could take advantage of Google's display network. So if you have anything to add, please feel free to add a comment below this video. We'd love to hear from you. If you don't, good luck in setting up your Google display campaign. If you need any more information, we're here. We're at Simplilearn.com. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.